This radio show is a paid placement. Welcome to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. I'm Mark Elliott. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh and Associates. Nolan McIntosh, for the first time, he's stepping out. Mindy stepped out a lot on Nolan and I. We've had to pick up the slack and do the radio show, but now it's all on Mindy. So the question is Mindy McIntosh ready to handle this radio show all by herself? Have you got one of those 30-minute workouts in so you feel good?
You bet. Workout is done. Kids are all off to school. It's a little snowy. And, Nolan's out of town. So us ladies here, we got to hold the fort down.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So here's the deal. The team at McIntosh and Associates are here to help you with your retirement planning, right? It's all about having a plan, the dream-focused wealth plan at McIntosh and Associates. They're going to discover, what do you need? Are you in good shape? Are you in bad shape? Are you in great shape? In between? Do you need this? Do you need that? What could make your retirement better? Or have you already won the game? Just go ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. You've won the game. Then they'll kind of analyze your situation. Then they'll come up with a solution. And it's not them telling you, you have to do this. It's saying, hey, here's some options. Which one would you prefer? But these will put you in a better position. Then they implement those solutions and then update. Because once we get into retirement, it doesn't mean things will just stay the same. So the Dream Focused Wealth Plan is always moving and evolving with you. And by the way, you can always find out more about Mindy, Nolan, and the team just by going to the website, wealthmichigan.com, wealthmichigan.com. A lot of great information there. Mindy, how are you? You doing well? You survived Thanksgiving, so that's a positive.
Doing well. Everything is good. Can't believe the end of the year is coming so close. It seemed to just fly by.
You know, you think about it, we're 3 days away from the end of the Medicare annual election period, and you're big on that. You help a lot of people during that. How would you say this annual election period is it any different than every other year, or?
I'd say it's probably similar to most years. Every year, we feel pretty blessed. More and more families we come in to help serve and kind of walk through that maze of Medicare. So I feel like I've been walking in mazes for the last few months and just really helping folks with some intangibles and making some changes. This year, more than ever, there was some formulary prescription drug changes and some pharmacy changes. And then just explaining some of the Inflation Reduction Act and how that kind of correlates and, builds right into mainly the medication portion of Medicare. But it was great, helping lots of folks and always on that timeline, but seems to work out.
Well, and last year, after a $20-something increase to Medicare Premium Part Bs, next year it's going down like $6. So that's positive, right?
It's been a positive, opener of, hey, you know what? Medicare Part B is going down about $5, but, you're also getting a cost of living adjustment of over 8%. So they're just like, finally, one didn't cancel the other out. So it worked out quite well.
Yeah, last year was a 5.9% bump for Social Security. And then it went from like $148 to $170 for the average Medicare premium. This year, 8.7% cost of living adjustment for Social Security for 2023. And then premiums actually went down like $5 or $6. So that's always interesting. We're going to discuss in this segment a little bit about a survey that was done by Northwestern Mutual. And Mindy, we've always heard, I need $1 million to retire. Do you remember those commercials back in the day where they'd be going, hey, is that your number? That's your number? Really? That's your number? The neighbors would be talking in the backyard, or they'd be walking with the numbers under their arm, or they'd go to the board. Hey, go stand in front of the number you need to retire. Do you remember those?
I do. Yeah. And they always thought, there's a certain number. Even when folks come in today still, it's amazing the number of families that we serve. And they're saying, hey, we wanted to have $1 million before we retire. And, today, current folks looking to retire at the end of the year, some folks were looking at the numbers. Some hit them, some didn't. Others had, I needed $500,000 in this particular investment bubble to retire, or, so a lot of people looked at the amount of wealth, and then, sometimes they're forgetting to look at, well, is that all pre-tax money? Or what type of risk do you have? We need to look at other factors, right? Their cost of living and inflation and where their expenses are going to be at when they retire. But you're right. So much about either rate of return or how much needed to be in that bubble to retire. And it's ever changing, right? And everybody's story is their own story. So I think more than ever, it's just just important to have a plan, right? Have that written income or investment plan. And reach out to us at the team if you're just not sure what that looks like for you and you're listening. Go to our website at wealthmichigan.com, attend one of our events, or schedule a visit. And most certainly feel free to call, right here locally, and reach out to us here at 877-222-8849 and just come into the office. And, it's very nice to get some documents and forms in your hand to see, is your number the same as everyone else that you think in your mind, or really retirement could be closer than you think?
And this study, Mindy, says that the number now that Americans believe they need to have to save to retire comfortably is $1.25 million, up from that $1 million spot. But I would imagine, because you've been doing this a long time, you started your company in 2004. So you sat down with people that had $1 million, $1.5 million, and it probably wasn't exactly enough for them. And then you sat down with people that had $250,000 and it was more than enough. So it's not, everybody probably does have a number. It's just not the number maybe they think it is. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. I think everyone needs to have a number, but it might not just be the standard of what you're thinking, I need to have $1.5 million or $1 million in this or this part in safety. I think that it really does have varying factors. Today now more than ever, with inflation up and things costing more, you're going to see it push that envelope a little bit, and what I feel higher tax rates in the future. But that's why it's so important to make sure that your plan, in my opinion, can't be set in stone, right? Life throws us curveballs and things change. So I think it's important to work with a professional to kind of walk along those changes together, so that we're here being the professionals in this line of work, walking alongside of folks to see what should that number actually be for you and customize it.
Now, the next little stat from this study then totally contradicts that. It causes some issues, I would say. The average retirement savings amount has dropped, Mindy. Last year, the average retirement savings account was $98,800. This year, it's $86,869, which could be some of the market. You're still working. It's in the 401k. The 401k took a little bit of a beating this year. How do you look at that? I mean, if our goal is 1.25 million and we have less than 100,000, that's a long way apart.
It is, yeah. If your goal, I think it has to go in stages, right? And a lot of times we like to just do analogies or bring it into something that's a little bit easier to understand or perspective, right? So you don't just run a marathon, right? No one's going to go out and just run a marathon tomorrow without time and training and effort. The same with your finances, right? So I think it's really important that if you have $100,000 saved today, then you're trying to get to, let's say, 1.5 million. What is your plan to get there? Because for anything that we do in life without a plan, you're just kind of walking blind, right? So it's so important to walk through, well, what does that look like? What am I setting aside for a contribution? And what type of contribution am I making, right? Are we doing pre-tax dollars? Are we doing after-tax? How is that actually going to set up in your plan? And week after week or day after day and month after month of diligently doing your plan and your goal, all of a sudden, before you know it, with time and compounding, you might have hit now exactly where you thought you were going to be and surpass that just with some appropriate planning and putting some time in. So I'm telling you that you can't start young enough, right? So we're even instilling factors with our young children. So it's so important to be able to do that and just make sure that, once you start something too, it's easy to continue it, especially once you've done so for a while. So reach out to us here at 877-222-8849. We'll help you. We'll do check-ins. We'll make sure that you're on track. We'll pick you up when you might fall down and walk through this together like we do with so many families.
Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the Macintosh. Not Macintoshes today. Nolan not with us, but Mindy is here, of course. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. We're talking about a Northwestern Mutual study. Here's one I want to kind of maybe we'll finish this first segment up on. But one of the parts of the study also said, and then maybe it's because of the markets, because of the economy, because of inflation, Mindy. I'll get your take on this. But last year, the average retirement age was about 62.6 years of age, so just under 63. Today, it's now up to 64. Are you finding people kind of backing off, going, I was really planning on retiring this year, but I think I'm going to put it off for a year or so?
We're seeing a lot of folks right now, especially this year. Now, last year, people flooding to retirement. So many people retiring early 60s. That was really the flavor of the year, so to speak. This year, we're seeing people say, you know what? I'm going to wait until I'm at least 65. I want to be Medicare eligible. And then even then, just with what we've seen happen in, let's say, our investment accounts, we're either going to keep working or we're going to find something to do part-time. So I absolutely have seen a shift just based on what we're seeing from the market, as well as, maybe what we're seeing out in job settings now. And as we get a little bit further out from COVID, I'm seeing a shift in people's mind frames as well.
Yeah, and it is your plan at McIntosh and Associates. Nolan and Mindy are here to help you, guide you, because they've been doing this for a long time, helped a lot of people. And can they help you? They don't know until you reach out. They hope so. They'd love to help. It's 877-222-8849. And if nothing else, if you came in and sat down with the team at McIntosh and Associates for, say, 1 hour, I guarantee you when you leave, you're going to know a lot more about your situation. Does that mean you need Mindy and Nolan's help? Not necessarily. You might have already won the game, but you might need some direction. You might need to tweak some things here or there. Let the team at McIntosh and Associates help. 877-222-8849. No cost, no obligation for this. 877-222-8849. We got more to go with Mindy McIntosh. This is Wealth Michigan with Mindy McIntosh. We're going to go year-end checklist coming up next. What should we be doing? Stay with us. We're back later.
According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. That's $2 billion a day, $15 billion a week. Right now, our debt is more than $30 trillion and climbing fast. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer is increasing taxes. Now, think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now, when rates are historically low, or later, when rates are potentially higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Mindy and Nolan McIntosh and the team at McIntosh and Associates know what to look for. Mindy and Nolan can help you create a plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Call 877-222-8849 to set up a visit with Mindy and Nolan McIntosh and McIntosh and Associates. That's 877-222-8849. Firm offers insurance services and may not give tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Get started today to develop your own dream-focused wealth plan with the team at McIntosh and Associates. Schedule a complimentary first visit today. Call 877-222-8849.
Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes minus the Macintosh. Mindy is with us today. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh and Associates. Mindy graduated from Michigan State back in 2002, started in the insurance business that same year, and then in 2004 started her company, McIntosh and Associates. And it's about helping you come up with that plan, that strategy for retirement. So the Dream Focused Wealth Plan, discovery, analysis, solution, implementation, and then update it, right? Things happen in our lives, so the plan's always adjusting with us. So the discovery meeting is to find out about your hopes, your dreams, your bucket list. What do you want to do in retirement? And then you got to figure out where your income's going to come from. Your paychecks have stopped. And then the investment strategies, too much risk, not enough risk, the right amount of risk. How much do you need in the safe world versus the risk world? Then there's tax efficient strategies, health, long-term care planning, legacy and estate planning, Social Security, it's in the income part, Medicare, it's in the healthcare part. That's a lot of moving pieces. If you have questions, you want to learn more about your specific situation, because obviously on the radio, we talk in general, right? Because we don't know who we're actually talking to a lot of people. Mindy and Nolan are every week on this program. So it's pretty general. But when you come in, now it's about you and your situation. 877-222-8849 is the number. No cost to chat with the team. 877-222-8849. Of course, you can always go to the website to learn more, wealthmichigan.com. All right, Mindy, hard to believe we're in the final month of 2022. So we're going to talk a little year-end checklist. Before we get to that, what is your assessment of the year 2022? Because it's been a little bit more difficult, I would think, for people getting ready to retire. The market's down, inflation up. How would you assess 2022, even though we still got about a month to go?
Well, I think as you take a look at the year, right? So first quarter of the year, I'd say everything was looking fine, at least from, consumers' perspective. Looking good, especially if they were looking to retire. Things were on even level keel for them. We kind of proceed through first half of the year. And then also anybody that's looking to retire near the end of the year, a lot of folks we had retire in July. Seems to be a good month for retiring, but summer months off. But as folks who are looking to retire near the end of the year, we've had a couple few that come in that didn't have, let's say, an actual game plan put in place and just said, hey, I'd like to retire at the end of the year, kind of concerned about healthcare, see if we're on check, and can you help us walk through that? That becomes a little bit more tricky for folks sometimes as they're seeing their either logging in or maybe seeing their statement month after month go down, 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 especially as of late. So it makes them a little bit more nervous to actually, I kind of, say move from that accumulation phase into a distribution phase when they feel like it's already dropping before they even had a chance to use it. So it is a mindset as well. So it's so important to have a plan. So what we do with our folks as part of the Dream Focus Wealth Plan is we take a look at current income. We also take a look at what are they deferring to investments and are they doing so in a tax efficient strategy, right? So it's not about what we're earning so much or the amount of nest egg you have when you retire. We're really focusing on educating our folks that it's so much about what you keep. And, making sure that we're looking at, a lens of iframe of a retirement tax bill. So when we do that and we see inflation on the rise and things costing more, we're either helping folks create a portion of their current income and current investment to a pension-like income, since most folks aren't receiving a pension retirement. We're creating that now to reduce market exposure, get rid of some of that risk now, get some protection set in place for their income plan. So as long as we have enough time to do that, and if we've been doing that, working with folks for years prior to retirement, it's a lot easier to say, hey, this is kind of our funds we're not needing to draw from right now, and this is money that we are, so we can give it a little bit of time and make adjustments. So if you're listening and you just kind of have had the blinders on, or maybe you've been nervous and you're aware and just not sure what to do, please reach out to us here at wealthmichigan.com. Call the office at 877-222-8849. I like to set an initial visit with myself or one of our financial team members for about 50 minutes on what we call an initial discovery visit to kind of walk through where you're at currently and some of your thoughts. Then we both kind of go to work and put together a plan that would work so we can walk alongside you.
Again, that's 877-222-8849 and the website wealthmichigan.com. All right, so let's talk about year end. And we know there are a lot of things you have to have done by December 31st. My guess is the perfect time to do that is start December 26th. Maybe not.
I'm going to say that is way too late, Mark. So
Okay.
We do not want to start December 26th. We want to make sure that you have your year-end planning done prior to Christmas, even prior to the 15th of the month if possible. So get your checklist ready. If you don't have one, go to our website at wealthmichigan.com. But, some important things are, most of our client families, we have them set up on a automatic distribution if they're of age to be receiving required minimum distributions. So we have that set up on an automatic, either monthly, sometimes quarterly, sometimes in November, just depends on the folks. But if you have not yet drawn your required minimum distribution, please make sure you look at any IRA, if you still have a 403B, 401k, a TSP, any pre-tax account, make sure you're looking at that because you need to take a certain percentage on the aggregate of those accounts. So it doesn't always mean you have to draw from each one of them. So, reach out to us at the team here and we can help you even with a withdrawal strategy order, which is very, very important whether you're still working or in retirement. But that required minimum distribution, you need to make sure that that is drawn by the end of the year so you don't have a 50% penalty on what you did not take. So I'd say that's first and foremost.
So there's a lot of moving parts there in that RMD world. And you and your clients, you put it on an automatic thing so we don't miss it. So we always know what's going on. But if you turn, and there's so many rules with all of this, whether it's Medicare, Social Security, all these government programs, the RMDs, if you turn 72, for example, this year, before June or whatever, then you need to do one this year. But if it was after July, there's all kinds of rules. You could actually wait till next year, but then you have to do two. That is something that I think that you have to kind of guide them because the IRAs, you could lump all of them together, right, and pull one amount. But you can't do IRAs and 401ks together. It's by what type of retirement fund it is, how many you have to pull out, I suppose. Is it something like that?
Correct. Yeah. So you could, maybe you have 4 different types of qualified plans. And let's just say that 2 have had a higher risk market exposure. So those values are down more due to the market this year. So maybe we don't draw from them. We give them a little bit of time and we draw some other more secure accounts, things of that nature. So we can take a look and decide what is the most appropriate to be drawing from and why, if you're of RMD age. So we take a look at all of that. And on the flip side, if you're not of required minimum distribution age, a lot of things happen here with what we call your retirement tax bill or tax timing. We have a retirement tax bill quiz on our website at wealthmichigan.com. It will take you about 5 minutes to do. It's pretty neat. So if you want to know your retirement tax bill and you're wondering, what might that be? Please go to our website again at wealthmichigan.com. Take a look at that. And really what we're looking at is we want to make sure that this is the time of the year, near the end of the year in November and December, we do most of all of our what's called Roth conversions. And for our folks that have money already that they've have not yet paid taxes on, we're looking at the whole year as a whole. Current income, have they inherited anything? What's investment income been? And we take a look at their tax bracket, and we usually try to fill up the rest of that bucket as if you're pouring water into a bucket. We like to fill up the rest of that bucket as far as taxable income and convert it to their tax-free Roth, generally speaking. There's a few different reasons why we like to do that right now. Plus, if any of you still have those slinkies in your home or come into our office here for a visit, we literally use a slinky and talk about if your money is in the market right now and you feel like it's compromised and lost some funds, now is the time, if we're going to do Roth conversions, to convert while it's already down. But then when the market corrects for this particular portion of money, you can ride that wave back up tax-free to get back to level playing field, and then all the growth as well. You do not pay taxes on it. That is a huge, huge way to capitalize with current market conditions. And we'd like to have this done, of course, before Christmas.
So I want to talk about the Roth conversions a little bit more. So I'm going to hold off until the next segment to discuss that more. We were just talking about the RMD age, right? The 70 and a half if you were 70 and a half before 2020, 72 if you're after for the RMDs. There's also those QCDs, the qualified charitable distributions, that age did not change. It's still 70 and a half for those. They didn't change that one when they changed the RMD age to 72. Can you kind of explain that one? That one is an interesting one to me, where I can put money, give it to my favorite charity or whatever, and it counts as my RMD, but it's not counting for my income. Can you explain that one a little bit?
Yeah, and it's so nice because when you do the QCDs or the qualified charitable distributions, if you're 70 and a half or older, you can literally donate all the way up to $100,000 to one or more charities directly to them. And it has to come from your taxable IRA instead of taking your required minimum distribution. That way, it does not count as income. It can go there directly to the custodian. Plus, then the custodian is not receiving that QCD after taxes were done, and it actually qualifies as what you need to draw out. So you can have some of your required minimum distribution go right to the church or charity that you want it to go to, and have it be able to be payable directly, which definitely helps you satisfy a portion or maybe all of your required minimum distributions. And then it also can go directly to that, administrator as well, which is pretty handy.
So there's a lot of things you need to do by the end of the year. You don't wait till after Christmas to do them. Roth conversions have to be done by December 31st. RMDs have to be done by December 31st. There's a lot of moving parts here. Charitable distributions need to be, if you're going to use that, you have to have those done by December 31st. You can't wait till after Christmas to say, oh, yeah, I need to do that, because there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. So that's why I think the rule of thumb is if you can do it by the second week maybe of December at the latest, then you might be in good shape. You just can't wait too long or the things won't get in when they need to. So a lot of moving parts here. You want to talk more about it with Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh & Associates, give them a call. There's no cost. 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. You can always go find out more at the website as well, wealthmichigan.com. Back with more. We're going to get into the Roth conversions a little bit. Makes sense for some, not for others. Why is that? Mindy will explain right after this. This is Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes.
If you're close to retirement, you probably hear about Medicare all the time. When to sign up, how to sign up, what your options are. But have you heard how you might be able to lower your future Medicare costs with proper planning before you retire? It's true. The McIntosh and Associates team can show you how. It's not for everyone, but you could potentially save in future Medicare premiums. See if this strategy could work for you. Call McIntosh and Associates now to set up your visit to start working on your plan. 877-222-8849. That's 877-222-8849. If you want to pay the lowest price for your future Medicare coverage, start planning today. Set up your visit now with the McIntosh and Associates team. Call 877-222-8849. Firm offers insurance services and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
"2023 will be here before you know it, and the team at McIntosh and Associates can help you prepare for the year ahead. Call them now at 877-222-8849.
Welcome back to Wealth Michigan with the McIntosh. Mindy is here. Nolan is not. Mindy, of course, the founder and president of McIntosh and Associates. Glad you're with us today. Quick questions, because we're in December now. So we're in the final quarter. So we're talking about some of those year-end things we need to do. You think about it, the Medicare annual election period that Mindy has helped a ton of people with, that ends December 7th. So that is this week. Then, of course, there are the RMDs you must be taking. If you're at the age of 70 and a half before 2020 and 72 after 2020, those are required minimum distribution ages where you have to pull money out of those IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, those tax-deferred tools you have at your retirement tool belt. And there's the mathematical equation of what you have to pull out every single year, and it goes up as you get older. But that has to be done by December 31st. Roth conversions must be done by December 31st. Charitable contributions done by December 31st. And you can't wait till after Christmas to start putting this in play. You got to do it earlier. November would be a great time to do it, but do it by probably the second week of December. Got to do it before Christmas or it won't get done. So a lot of moving parts here. If you have questions, you can always call Mindy and Nolan, 877-222-8849 at McIntosh and Associates, 877-222-8849. And then, of course, find out more at wealthmichigan.com. Since Nolan is not here, is this the year you're going to let him get his Corvette or no?
No, sir.
All that Nolan does for the
Not
family,
necessary.
and he never gets to have fun. Oh, wait, he's hunting, so I guess he's having fun. You're letting
He's
him
having fun.
Yeah,
You
okay.
bet.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the Roth conversions. Roth conversions, to me, sound great, right? Tax-free. I can pay some of the taxes now, convert maybe some of the 401k or IRA, depending on your age, for those kind of things, to do that. But I can move some of that money and then pay taxes on it, and then it will grow from there on tax-free. And we know it was the PayPal guy that really caused Congress some issues this year when he took his $2,000, it was doing it in the tax-free world, right? So he took $2,000, paid the taxes on it, and put it into his PayPal stock, which is now worth, I don't know, millions and millions, if not $1 billion or $2 billion, and it's all tax-free. And they're like, well, that's not right. Well, he used the system, and now they're questioning all of that. The middle of the year, they're really questioning the ability to do the Roths. That's not changed yet, so that's a positive. Tax-free is great, but there are times to do it. You mentioned it earlier, Mindy, the markets are down. It's maybe even a better time to take some of that and turn it into the tax-free world because it's not as much money maybe as before. How do you look at Roth conversions? Because I think that everybody likes the sound of tax-free, and we know, I think a lot of people go, well, I should do that. Well, there's a way to do it and a wrong way to do it, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we look at, and I'm such a visual person, so if you're listening, schedule a visit. You can come in on one of our larger screens, you'll see where I have a bunch of different buckets. So remember, I'm just a farm girl from the thumb who used to have horses and, walked around with a lot of pails of water, to be honest with you. So we have this bucket approach, and it shows year by year the amount that you can fill up in that taxable bucket before it's going to spill over. So if we use the example, a lot of folks are in a 12 or 22% current tax bracket as a general rule of thumb for a lot of the folks that we see. So let's say that, they have another $50,000 that they could have of earned income for the year before they'd spill over into the next tax bracket. Well, we want to fill that up. If we could literally fill it up to the exact dollar without spilling over, that'd be fantastic. And now more than ever, when we take a look at current trends and performance in the market, it is a great way to say, hey, why don't we go ahead and earmark this IRA money to our Roth Yes, we have to pay taxes on it, but while the market is more compromised right now, right, and compressed, we can move that over now, pay the taxes either now or at tax time, depending on your situation. We walk through that together. In the next year, let's say, we see things correct and you can rebalance or rebound. Well, guess what? All of that rebalance or rebound, now you just saved your 12% in tax rate if that was your bracket, or 22. And then anything over and above that, over the next however many years that you have until retirement, that is all growing income tax free. And now it's up to you. You are in control of yourself of when and how you want to draw that money out of that account. So it's so imperative that we take a look at current income levels. We also take a look at tax trends, and the current tax law is due to sunset in January of 2026. I firmly believe as a firm that tax rates are going up. So if we feel that taxes are more on sale right now, and we take a look at current market conditions, it is now a time to be doing Roth conversions. And by all means, I hope all of you listening that are contributing to an investment account, I'd love to see all of you contributing to the Roth IRA if you can, if you're eligible, or at work to an employer-sponsored 401k Roth portion. And if you want more information on this, go to our website at wealthmichigan.com, call the office at 877-222-8849, and come on in for a visit to visually see that. I'd even like to get you our holistic tax book in your hand that talks to you specifically about investing in the tax-free world. And some of these things are really important that we like to do all before Christmas.
So would you say that taxes are more important for today's retirees? Certainly my grandparents, when they retired, they had Social Security, they had pensions, and then they lived a much quieter retirement than I'm hoping to anyway. They weren't really go-goers. They weren't big travelers. It was just a different time frame for them. They were depression babies, if you will. They were always pretty careful with what they were spending and what they were doing. Today's boomers don't really pay attention to some of that, which is where we need you to guide us so we don't make terrible mistakes. But this Roth world, and we talked about it before, if you have multiple IRAs, you don't have to pull out of each. It's just the total amount of dollars in that IRA. That's your RMD number, and the numbers keep going up. It's under 4%, I think, to start, but then every year you age, it goes up. The percentage goes up. But if you have a 401k, you can't lump that in with the IRAs. It's separate. It's a different tax-deferred tool, if you will. So when you're going through that, why does it not make sense for somebody to do a 401k Roth or Roth conversion? Because I would think it makes a lot of sense, and you said it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. Why does it not make sense for some?
I think sometimes if you are, let's just say that you're already at the highest tax bracket currently, right? So if you're already at currently the highest tax bracket right now, you're earning still quite a plethora of income, you're in your key years of earnings, then that would not be a time to do a Roth conversion, or even age, right? If you're fairly young, Roth conversions would not also be a time to be doing so. So we want you to be over 59 and a half. We also want to make sure we're not doing conversions in the years that, if you're going to pay 30+% in tax, that's probably not wise to do right now. But by all means, if you can still contribute tax-free, even for those higher income earners, really great way to go. Another reason that we might not want to do Roth conversions is because if this is the first time you're stepping into that Roth world, it's not fully liquid until you've held it for 5 years. So if you don't have much of a footprint of a savings plan, then we don't want to compromise some funds that you might need to get to and have a penalty to do so. So there's a liquidity frame point in there. So we need to take a look at how much do you have invested and what you're currently earning. So that's what's going to be a frame point, and it can vary and change from year to year. People's lives change, even inheritance, maybe a new job. So we really like to look at this throughout the year, have a plan in play, and then kind of make that instrumental move near the end of the fourth quarter.
Do you think most people understand that, or do you have to explain that to some? I would think I would. I mean, I would think, wow, I paid the taxes on this money. Why can I not get it now? And you just said if I move money to the Roth world, say this year, I will not be able to get it until, 2027, 2028? Because I got to wait 5 years or I'd have to pay a penalty on it. Do people realize that?
Some do, and some are unaware. So we have to make sure that we're walking alongside everyone that comes into the office as if this was brand new to them. So we're walking alongside them. Now, if we're adding more into the Roth footprint and then it's already been established, then that timeline just keeps on ticking. It does not start over. So I always like to over communicate with our clients, right? I just feel like, hey, we're more of a consulting concierge type service to look at what is good for your neighbor might not always be good for you. So let's actually walk through, what does your situation look like? Let's walk through that together to see, hey, does this fit your needs? And on the flip side of things, maybe we're trying to get from a contribution side, you might be phasing out of being able to contribute to an active Roth account. Your income might be too high. So there's some other things that we can do actually in the frame point of a life insurance and using a 72T and being able to put money away actually protected too. So protected from any market loss into a tax-free envelope. So there's different reasons that things are available to different folks. Some of it might be due to risk or age or income. So we need to walk through all of that as part of your Dream Focused Wealth Plan. So schedule a visit here at McIntosh & Associates. Go to our website at wealthmichigan.com or call the office here at 877-222-8849.
So there are a lot of moving parts that you need to do by the end of the year, and you can't wait till after Christmas to get all of this done. If you're thinking about doing any of these things, then don't let a minute go by. Call Mindy and the team at McIntosh & Associates right now and say, hey, here's what I was planning on doing. According to you, I better get going on that. Well, absolutely. Call the team, 877-222-8849. No cost, no obligation for this. They're here to help if they can, 877-222-8849. Headed to our final segment of today's Wealth Michigan with the McIntosh. Mindy will wrap it all up when we come back. Stay with us. Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the McIntosh. No McIntoshes today. Nolan not with us today, but Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president, helping us all get through and learn about things we needed to do before the end of 2022. And of course, if you have questions about anything, where you are on your road to retirement, it's 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. Of course, you can always go to the website. A lot of great information there, wealthmichigan.com. Mindy, where are you headed?
Well, today I think we're getting so close to Christmas, so we always want to be giving gifts and showing gratitude, especially during this season, and kind of paying it forward to each other. So what we hear throughout the year here a lot when folks come in to visit with us is they talk about, gosh, I wish that, we could have even started this plan earlier. I wish we wouldn't have felt so busy and got in here sooner to have a plan. So I like to always offer the gift of stop by the office. We have a tangible gift of a holistic retirement book. We can get this book in your hand. It's not a big read. It's less than 150 pages, but it's very instrumental to walk through what we call a nice process, right? So as we've talked on the show today about required minimum distributions and Roth conversions and being tax efficient and having an income plan and what are you going to do for healthcare and retirement, all the steps that we walk through in our office as part of what we call the Dream Focused Wealth Plan is it starts with a discovery visit. So we'll look through and walk through current income and expenses. We'll look and see if long-term care or aging is important to you and have you been caring for a loved one. We'll look at current taxable environment and taxes in the future and how your investments are performing with market trends, and should we reduce risk because you're getting close to retirement, and how do we create a safe, secure income? More so than ever, folks want to make sure that they aren't going to outlive their money in retirement. So it's so important we give you a secure sense of, hey, let's give you an investment opportunity that you can't have market loss in, give you some income stream for life and make sure that's protected, as well as ensuring that we have proper health insurance, how our copays and out-of-pocket costs going to be increasing over the years for you, and just looking this evolving circle of how we help folks with healthcare and wealth care. It's usually the first time you come in, you're here for a discovery visit, then you and our team have some what we call homework still. So we both do some homework. We come back together and kind of do an analysis and take a deep dive of what actually is happening within your current situation. Then we can implement a strategy for the following visit. and just kind of have solutions and then start walking along that path together. So if you're wanting to know more information about this, or you're wanting to instrumentally get some information in someone's hands this Christmas, please stop by or call our office at 877-222-8849. You can even check it out on the website at wealthmichigan.com, and we'd love to get this holistic retirement book in your hand. No age is too young, right? So if you're thinking about your children that are in their 20s that need to get started, great. If you're thinking that you're going to retire or already retired, excellent. This will walk through that pathway, and we'd love to give this gift to you during this holiday season.
Hey, we've got about a minute left. So will next year, the year 2023, be the year that you are a published author?
So for 2023, I will actually have a book that I've took some time called Cultivating Your Wealth. So I want to make sure that we walk alongside you of where your healthcare and your wealth care meet. It kind of walks through some history of myself as childhood, some things and hurdles that folks can go through during their working years, and just how to make sure we can secure and cultivate those retirement timelines and years that are important to you. So seek out to see that in 2023. There will be a book coming from myself as an offer to you as well, to kind of read through that and walk through our journey together.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business McIntosh & Associates. McIntosh & Associates Financial is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by McIntosh & Associates are not subject to investment advisor requirements. AEWM and McIntosh Associates are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. McIntosh & Associates Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by McIntosh & Associates Financial. Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences, including, but not limited to, a need for additional tax withholding or estimated tax payments, the loss of certain tax deductions and credits, and higher taxes on Social Security benefits and higher Medicare premiums. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. This radio show is a paid placement.